Hi, welcome to this video about how to create a citation from a microfilm collection. This is part of our Research Like a Pro with DNA Q&A series. So you might be wondering why a citation video is included in a DNA series. Well, this is our Research Like a Pro with DNA steps flowchart, and you can see that citations are going to be really helpful in several places. So for instance, we teach citations when we're creating our timeline, when we're looking at all the sources that we've previously found. And then we'll need to create citations as we experiment with DNA tools. We'll do citations as we do our research plan, and as we follow that plan, research logging, and then finally as we're writing up our report. So we teach citations early on so that we can use them in all of the different parts of the Research Like a Pro with DNA process. So this is a user-submitted question. One of our study group members said, I had sent for microfilm records from the Library of Virginia through their interlibrary lending program and printed out pages and pages of these vital records. I kept all the documentation, correspondence with the lending library I used, and documentation from Library of Virginia that had accompanied the microfilm. I'd like to use this information on the project, but I am unsure how to write the citation. Okay, this is a common problem. Trying to figure out how to write citations, especially from information that we maybe received in the past, is tricky. So first we have to do everything we can to understand the source. That is our very first step in creating source citations. So we can look at the beginning of the microfilm, we look at everything the lending institutions sent us, we look at our actual digital copies or our physical copies. We try to figure out more about the source. So here is one of the copies that our study group member shared with me, and you can see it's a register of marriages from the county of Greensville in Virginia, and I'm just using this particular entry for our demonstration here. And so we have Walter Harding and Mandy Taylor being married on April 25th, 1907. Now, what else will help us to identify this record? Well, we've got the names and the date. On this page, we don't have a page number, but if we were to scroll ahead in the microfilm or behind the microfilm, we could obtain that. However, if all that you've got left is just the copy, you may not have a page number. If you do, you can use the volume and page number, and just for illustration's sake, I'm going to make one up for this, and you'll see that in the citation. Otherwise, it becomes really important to use the actual date, because that is how someone else could follow your footsteps and find the record. Now, always look for some kind of documentation sent from the lending institution. And in this case, the Library of Virginia sent a paper with some of the microfilm numbers that the patron had ordered and with a title, A Birth, Marriage, and Death Registers, Greensville County. And then these are the different reels that were sent in. You can see there's a range of dates. So because the record we are looking for to figure out a citation is 1907, and none of these other microfilm rolls contain 1907, it's a pretty good bet that that record came from reel number 21. Now, can we check this? Well, we can. Often, places like the Library of Virginia now have a digital website, and we can go see if there's more information there about the source. So on Library of Virginia's website, when we look at the BMD registers, we see that it is broken down by the births, deaths, and marriages, and indeed, Reel 21 for that same date range of 53 to 1931 is what we are looking at. So we can feel pretty secure that this is the correct reel to cite in our source citations. So the next step is to answer the 5 questions of who created the source, what is the source, when is the source, where is the source, and where in the source. These are from Genealogy Standards by the Board for Certification of Genealogists, and also Tom Jones teaches these in his book, Mastering Genealogical Documentation. When it comes to putting together the citation, then we have to think about whether this is a straightforward citation or if this is a citation that holds layers. And in this case, it does have layers. Often we think of that as a type of a citation where we have a digital copy and then we are also citing a physical copy. Well, in this example, we do have a physical layer and we have a microfilm layer. So when we create the citation, we just put all the information for the physical layer together, all the information for the microfilm layer together, and then we separate it with a semicolon. You can learn more about this in Elizabeth Schoen Mill's book, Local and State Records chapter from Evidence Explained. And on page 465, she talks about microfilm and preservation copies. And it gives you a little bit of background about the type of information that you would want to include in this type of a citation. So the study group member who submitted this question had attempted to create a citation using the 5 questions and had some ideas, which were great. So the first one was, is the Library of Virginia the Who? Well, yes, it is for the microfilm layer, because the Library of Virginia created the microfilm collection. But when we're talking about the physical layer, that actual entry in the marriage register, that was created by the Greensville County, Virginia court or clerk, whoever was in charge. It was Greensville County, Virginia, which is identified as the creator. So sometimes this will be a county's probate court or another government body, but often I will just use the county as the creator. We don't ever use the clerk because clerks change, and it's generally the county that is regulating the creation of this type of a record. Now, her next question was, is the Marriage and Death Registers Greensville County the what? And it is for the microfilm layer. So this is how the Library of Virginia identifies it, Marriage and Death Registers Greensville County. And so that is a perfect definition of the what for the microfilm layer. For the physical layer, we have to determine that ourselves. So in the book, we have Register of Marriages, Walter Harding and Mandy Taylor. We've identified it by the name of the couple, and if the search was negative, we could say something like negative search for Harding-Taylor marriage. Often we won't find what we want to in a record collection, and we want to cite that we looked, it just simply was not there. Now our next question is where is the library location? And yes, for the microfilm layer, it is in Richmond, Virginia. For the physical layer, it would be Greenville County is where that took place. And we don't have to repeat that because that's already in the who. We're trying to be concise. We don't need to repeat things that are unnecessary. Next question is the when, the Access 2009 date. This is the date that our study group member received this and used this set of microfilm. Is that important in the citation? Well, it would be in the microfilm layer if we needed it, but a date of access is not usually necessary as the microfilm should be at the Library of Virginia indefinitely, and your research log or notes could explain that it was ordered in 2009. As for the physical layer, that would be the date of the record, 25 April 1907. Now the wherein, is it the individual microfilm names, births, deaths, or marriages? So we've already cited the names and the dates. What this is calling for is something specific. So in the physical layer, if we have a volume and a page number of the actual marriage register, that's what we would use. And if we don't have it, then we would just have to use the date of the marriage to find that again. But in this example, we'll use volume 1, page 109. It wasn't shown on that image I showed you at the beginning, but we're going to pretend it was so we can show you how it's used. Now for the microfilm layer, we did determine that Marriages Reel 21, 1853 to 1931 is the specific place where this record is held within that large collection of birth, marriages, and deaths from the Library of Virginia. So our complete citation looks like this. The red is the physical layer, blue being the microfilm layer. So we've got Greensville County, Virginia, Register of Marriages, Volume 1, page 109, Walter Harding and Mandy Taylor, 25 April 1907, semicolon, signaling another layer. Library of Virginia Microfilm, Marriage and Death Registers, Greensville County, Marriages Real 21, 1853 to 1931, Library of Virginia, Richmond. So we keep everything together for the microfilm, everything together for the physical layer. Now, does it pass our test for evaluating citations? This is what I'm always looking for in citation creation. Is it clear? Is it concise? Meaning, have we duplicated things that don't need duplication? Is it consistent? If we were to create multiple citations from this same type of microfilm, would all of our citations follow the same format? And is it informative? Does it give us enough information that we can go back and we can find that actual record? So I hope you've enjoyed this little short lesson in creating a citation from microfilm. Thanks for watching.